Good morning, my name is Jerry Gilpin with Dennison Yachting. Today we're here in Clearwater, Florida. It is my privilege to bring to you my newest listing, No Compromises, a 2003 Viking 61 Skybridge. First commissioned in 2003, then refit in 2012 at the Florida Viking factory, this Viking 61 is undoubtedly one of the most highly upgraded 61s ever built. I would first like to start out by pointing out a few features that separate her from her competitors. The first feature I would like to point out is the Skybridge. This was added by the Viking factory in Riviera Beach in 2012. This is the only Viking 61 Skybridge available in today's market. The benefit of having a Skybridge is that it gives you the best of both worlds, an open and an enclosed bridge. The second feature I would like to point out today is the factory molded in mezzanine. This too was added in 2012 at the Viking factory. The mezzanine not only includes refrigeration, but also air conditioning was added as well, making the hottest days more bearable and keeping your fishing crew happy. The third highlight of No Compromises is her added SeaKeeper. Along with her other upgrades, this was added to achieve up to an 80% roll reduction. A teak cap rail runs around the perimeter of the cockpit, giving a bold element to this area. Completely encircled by a teak deck underfoot, this well-equipped cockpit has everything you need for tournament fishing. Located directly above the gyro is her centerline fighting chair. Now taking a look across the transom, I'd first like to point out a large tuna door on the starboard side. Next to this is an aquarium live well with a pair of hatches that make it easy for multiple people to have their hands in there at the same time when rigging everything up in the morning. Outboard are 4 tuna tubes that were added during her time in the yard, a custom feature that shows how serious her owner was about making sure she had even more essential upgrades. As I've already mentioned, this 61 is equipped with a great mezzanine. When it comes to seating, there's a wide padded bench to port for up to 4 and a smaller seating area opposite to starboard. There's a lot of storage in the area thanks to 3 insulated cold boxes. There's a long one to port below the seating, a step box directly below the salon entrance, and a third cooler to starboard. Also found in the immediate area are JL audio speakers. A ladder in the middle leads up to the next level through an entry in the molded overhead. We'll come back to this area a little later, but this feature provides the mezzanine seating below with some extra shelter from the sun and rain. Next, let's take a look at the engine room. Down here, a pair of MTU 12V2000 engines combine for 2,960 horsepower. This well-kept engine room is also home to a pair of Cummins Onan generators, each rated at 21.5 kW. This engine room is separated into 2 parts. The aft section serves as the engine room compartment, and then in the forward compartment we find a handful of other items like AC chillers, Raycor filters, and storage space. No Compromises has a top speed of around 35 knots, and she cruises at right around 26 knots. Next, let's step inside and take a look at the Salon through an electric door in the cockpit. Taking up most of the yacht's 18-foot 2-inch beam is No Compromises Salon. That's a perfect place to relax after a long day on the water. An open lounge area is found aft by the entrance. An L-shaped sofa wraps around and serves as the primary place on board to kick up your feet. Next, let's turn our attention to starboard. Inside of the upper cabinet are the yacht's AC and DC ship service panels. Directly below this service area are the AV head units for the Salon and a few other areas on board. Forward of this is an ice maker. The last item of note in this area is a winding staircase that leads up to the flybridge, an area we'll come back to. Next, let's take a look at the galley, which has a large bar and stone counter prep space. 2 stools are fixed on the aft side of the galley and will get used all the time. Found on the forward side of the prep area are 2 drawer-style Sub-Zero freezers and 4 Sub-Zero refrigerators. Amtico flooring is the only thing that separates the 2 galley countertops. The forward portion of the galley serves not only as storage area, but also contains a 3-burner Kenyan cooktop, a stainless sink, a trash compactor, and microwave. Across from the galley to starboard is the yacht's dinette. Leaving the main deck, let's head below and check out the guest accommodations. But first, I just want to point out the laundry center with a stacked washer and dryer. The first of 4 guest cabins is found forward on the starboard side. In here, bunks are arranged outboard with storage found aft directly below a TV. Forward in here is the entrance into the cabin's ensuite, which has a shower stall. This is a shared head with an entrance into the companionway. Continuing forward and heading to port brings us to the owner's cabin. The layout of this suite is based around a walk-around queen berth. The storage in here is outboard of the bed. On the forward bulkhead, we see a wall-mounted TV in addition to the ensuite entrance. Looking outside of the master entrance, we see the entry into the shared head that we just visited. Heading forward from here brings us another starboard side guest cabin with bunks. The final guest cabin is the VIP, which is forward in the bow, with plenty of storage and an ensuite. Directly above this cabin is no compromises stretching foredeck. Something that sets this area apart is the safety rail running around the perimeter of the bow, a great safety feature. Forward on the bow is a Maxwell electric windlass just forward of a deep anchor locker. This is arranged on and around a bow pulpit the owner added. The centerpiece of the bow is the tender and davit found up here. While the tender does not convey with the sail, it gives you a great idea of what you can do with this space. Leaving the bow, let's take a look at the aft section of the enclosed bridge, which we can access from the ladder in the cockpit. From up here, the captain and crew down below can easily communicate when you have a fish on the line. You can run the boat up here on the starboard side just below the shade of the hardtop. At this helm position, you have what you need for backing down on fish or when you're docking short-handed. With Palm Beach style engine controls, bow thruster control, and great visibility, this is an ideal place to operate the boat from. Centerline is a ladder that offers access to the Skybridge with a molded-in bench seat just outboard on the port side. Now let's step inside. On almost any other enclosed bridge Viking, this would be the single feature that sets the boat apart. But for this 61, it's just another of several notable spaces. In the aft section is where you have the living area. Offset on the port side is an L-shaped seating area with a coffee table. As far as light is concerned, this area benefits greatly from an oversized window on the aft bulkhead. To starboard is a wet bar with a sink and refrigerator with a TV directly above. Next to the wet bar, just forward, are the winding stairs that lead down into the salon, which we've already visited. This brings us to the enclosed bridge helm. Bench seating for 4 flanks a black, centerline stid helm seat. Air conditioned and protected from the elements, this helm serves as the primary helm of the yacht. Here are all the tools you need to make the cruising experience as ideal as possible. Some of the key components are a pair of VHF radios and a Furuno radar monitor. Centerline are her engine monitors, Garmin 5215, Garmin Autopilot, and a Furuno RD30 display. On the port side of the wheel, we see a bow thruster joystick, anchor control, and trim tabs. Looking to the starboard side of the wheel are the engine throttles and control pad for her generators outboard. Directly above the enclosure is our final stop on today's walkthrough, the Skybridge. Up here, you have the same tools found below for operating the boat, but the helm feels completely different for obvious reasons. From this perspective, you could take on the journey head on with the wind in your face. From any seat up here, you have an unbeatable view of your surroundings. Twin Murray Brothers helm seats face the wheel and make for an unforgettable cruising experience. This fully equipped helm has instruments laid out nearly flat with both operation and observation in mind. Just below her custom radar, you and your team are protected by a large hardtop, an aft safety rail, and this other safety feature, a hatch to close this area off when everyone's settling in. Of any 61 built, this Skybridge is an incredible feature that you'll find only on this yacht. It's one of many subtle signs that this boat was refit by someone who knew what they were doing. She's got the big ticket items like her SeaKeeper stabilizer and highly upgraded cockpit, all the way down to the details only a fisherman would notice. On behalf of Denison Yachting, I want to thank you for joining me today on the Viking 61 Skybridge. If you have any further questions or would like to schedule a showing, please feel free to reach me.